Takes a little effort, we can work it out. These things go hand in hand, know what I'm talking about. Can we have one without the other, one without the other, yeah. One without the other, one without the other, yeah. We made it through the test, yeah. Strengthening love and sex. We made it through the test, strengthening love and sex.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Spencers, and we're back
back
for the Strengthening Love and Sex podcast. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to talk about something spicy. Trying to bring some romance and some passion back into your relationship. And I hope, Ron, that these folk have been dialing in because we've been talking about some great stuff.
We really have.
I really enjoyed talking with the Lopers on our last episode.
Such a wonderful couple.
And they're supposed to be coming and hanging out with us in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
May 19th and 20th, we're doing CPR for your marriage. That's Christian Principles to Resuscitate Your Marriage. Babe, why do some couples need CPR?
Now, when you hear CPR, you automatically think of that somebody's in distress, or they're trying to bring them back to life. Well, that's part of it. To bring your life back into your marriage, if you've been lagging or if you're having some trouble, but also if you're not experiencing any trouble in your relationship, it's always good to get some additional tools for your tool belt.
You know, I was in yoga class the other day, and my yoga teacher, Rebecca, was telling me that the old song by the Bee Gees, Stand Alive, ah, 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 stand alive, stand alive. That's actually a song that's been used for CPR training because of the rhythm in the song. Stand alive, ah,
I can see that.
and the whole point is to keep that rhythm so you can bring life to a person when you give them CPR.
Oh, wow.
Some of your relationships have lost the rhythm. Anita Baker would say that there's a rhythm of love. And when your passion has failed in your marriage, when the breath has been taken out of your marriage, you need CPR. Stand alive, stand alive. So we want to help bring life back to your marriage. We're going to talk about communication. Yes. We're going to talk about intimacy. We're going to talk about passion. We're going to have a good time. So on May 19th, on that Friday, we're going to be having dinner and jazz on Friday night on May 19th. And then on Saturday, we've got a workshop with Joaquin and Stacy Loper. And so all you got to do, if you need CPR to strengthen and bring life back to your relationship, listen to me. You can be serious dating or married. Doesn't matter if you've been married a year or 30 years. You need CPR. You need to brush up, bring life back to your marriage. So go to drstacyelspencer.com and register today. Go ahead.
Well, when you go to drstacyelspencer.com, click on the CPR retreat conference tab so that you can register there.
It's on Eventbrite. If all else fails, go to Eventbrite and register for the CPR for your marriage. Tonight, though.
Yes,
Tonight, we make history. We're going to be talking about the pleasure principle. Some of y'all remember Janet Jackson's old song, Pleasure Principle, where we're going to be talking about that tonight as it relates to women.
It's about us, ladies?
Yes, about y'all tonight. It's all about y'all, and rightfully so, because, you know, got Mother's Day coming up this weekend.
Okay.
And we need to treat our mamas right.
Treat us right.
I read something, sweetheart, that said that the average sex act, we're going to do a quiz real quick. In North America, how long does the average sex act last? What do you think? Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments real quick. How many minutes does the average sex act last in America? I need you to come on, type it in there. I see 5, 7,
20.
The right answer. Y'all ready for this?
Tell them, baby.
8 minutes. 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on.
Well, that's still too short if it's 6 minutes.
8 minutes is the average act for lovemaking in North America. Here's a more disturbing fact.
Okay.
How long, ladies, does it take a woman's vulva to be engorged so that she can be pleasured? How many minutes does it take a woman to become fully engorged so that she can enjoy that pleasure? Type that in the comments.
And it's not 2 days.
It's not 2 days. Sometimes it feels like it. How many? 10 minutes? The time. You ready for this? 40 minutes.
Gotta put the work in.
So, baby, tonight we need to talk about this mathematical problem. There's a problem, Houston. 8 minutes for the average sex act, but it takes a woman 40 minutes to get warmed up. Sweetheart, I'm going to back this thing up, and I'm going to need you to help us out tonight. How do we solve this mathematical dilemma if it's 8 minutes for the average sex act and it takes y'all 40 minutes to fully get engorged to be pleasured? What is we going to do?
Well, we always say that before intimacy starts in the kitchen. It's all
What does
day
that
long,
mean?
Meaning that depending on what your love language is, let's just start there. Say and meaning that it starts before 5 minutes before going into the bedroom or wherever you decide to have sex that night or that day or that morning. But you need to show some intentionality with it throughout the day, not just after you get home from work, and the extra touching and loving and kissing and holding hands and caressing all before foreplay, because that helps with a woman to get aroused. So it's not just a couple minutes before, hey, you come rub up on me like, hey, it's need something.
You know what's crazy is like, if we say that the average sex act lasts 8 minutes, takes y'all 40 minutes to get fully engorged. Well, how many women do you think are laying in the bed dissatisfied because they didn't get as much out of it as the man did?
Oh, it's probably a whole lot of women that are not as satisfied as they really desire to be.
Why don't they open up their mouths and say something?
One, because it's been taboo for a woman to ask for what they really want sexually. And some may not even know. If it's been an average of 8 minutes, and now we're saying that it's taking 40 minutes for a woman to become fully engorged or become aroused in order to have an orgasm, then they may not know that. Or, 7 minutes and the man does what he does and he's satisfied and he's thinking that the woman is satisfied, and we're sitting there like, no, you ain't even touched the tip of the iceberg yet.
I think a lot has to do with sexism and sex worthiness. A lot of women don't feel worthy enough to ask for the sex they want because we've labeled our women as whores if they come across as wanting sex too much. And it's so unfortunate because men crave a woman to be an angel in the street but a freak in the bed. Right. But because we socialize women to not be freaks, they feel not worthy to ask for what they want. You think that's true?
To some degree. We have this whole new age that's going on where women are over sexualized as far as in their dress and then them acting more dominant in their relationship. But because even with them doing that, they're still not getting what their body craves for most of the time. And when it comes to sex.
Why?
Because they're not asking for it. Because they're afraid to ask their partners or to explain to their partner because they don't want to take that role of being a little more aggressive away from our men.
Even though you said women are more aggressive and dress more provocative, but yet they're still not satisfied. Because when it comes to being intimate with their partner, even though they talk a good game in hip-hop music and whatnot, when it comes to that bedroom, there's still this tendency to hold back on what they really want.
Right. It's almost like the lamb and the wolf. So we want to be a lamb and coddled and taken care of as opposed to being that wolf and going after what we really want.
Wolf. You want to be a wolf, baby?
I don't know if that was the right wolf.
That sounds like a cat that was mad. So you want, women ought to be able to ask for what they want. And one of the authors that I was reading said that women don't value their own vulvas. They think that they're their vaginas aren't beautiful. Can you speak to that in terms of, like, I know we did a workshop where we asked the women in the room, how many of you have actually looked at your own vagina, and only one woman raised her hand. Why is it that there's not more attention given to a woman's vulva, and why do they think they're unattractive?
Well, women anatomy education is so very limited. When we're in grade school, biology class, they're not telling you about it. So it's more like you have to do your own extensive research regarding your own body. But every woman's vulva is as different as their own individual face. There's not two alike. So I can describe what my vulva looks like, but it's not going to look like someone else.
And that's okay, right?
And that's perfectly okay. And the best way to learn about your own body is to examine it. How are you to know if something is not right if you are not examining it?
And going back to that not right, I remember when I was a kid, like when I was 12, I was so consumed with my appearance. I got in the mirror and I was crying because my eyelids were too big. I think a lot of women, from what I've read and what you've told me, a lot of them look at their vulvas and they're like, it's not attractive because their outer labia may hang,
Right.
or it may be disproportionate. But the reality is that, like vulvas and faces, all of them are different.
Very different.
And you, at some point, do you think this is true? That women have to fall in love with their own anatomy?
Oh, absolutely. You need to fall in love with every part of your body. And as we age, of course, things are going to change. And so that is why it's so important for you to look at everything. It's important for you to do your breast exams every month. And it's important for you to look at, under your arms. And your vulva. It's important to examine every portion of
Isn't
your
it a sin to touch yourself, though?
It's not a sin. It's your body. God gave you. It's your body. It's
So,
your body.
so it's okay for a woman to pleasure herself.
If need be.
And I think that stigma comes with a lot of Christian women who think, like, May is masturbation month. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
May is masturbation month.
And mental health.
And mental health.
Wow.
So both of those things kind of go together.
Wow.
It was thought by early sexologists, I think it might have been Sigmund Freud, the word hysteria is associated with orgasm. And they thought that women, they wanted to associate being hysterical with orgasm, which is totally not scientifically true. And this stigma of touching and pleasing yourselves has followed some of y'all into the bedroom to the point where some of your sensations have been deadened because if you don't use your muscle
memory,
they atrophy. So like an astronaut who's in a spaceship, when they sit for a long time and they don't use their muscles, they almost have to learn how to walk again once they get back to Earth.
Wow.
Can you imagine as a woman if you never touch your own self, if you never please your vulva, that those nerves can die. And so I think it's important for men and women to masterfully, consciously touch themselves, because how can you tell your spouse what you want if you don't know what pleases you?
And if something is displeasing on the other side, how can you tell your partner, your spouse, that this is not pleasing? And hope, preferably, your spouse will be able to adjust.
So you need more sensation, and then you also need more knowledge. I think it's important, like you said, we really didn't touch on anatomy in school.
Right.
If we did, we were too giggly and didn't pay attention when it came to the penis and the vagina.
And that was the extent of it. It wasn't everything else. It wasn't all the internal of our anatomy.
And how it works.
Right.
There's so much, listen to me, fellas, there's so much to explore in your wife. Did you guys know that your wife has the clitoral bulb that's right beneath the hood? And so much of our attention goes to that one little pea-sized, or, this little,
depending on the size.
this, and all clitorises are different, right? But they rest up under the hood, but that's not the entire organ. That whole clitoral root is kind of like a wishbone, a two-pronged wishbone. You got the nerve, the vegetables, not vegetables. Eat your vegetables. Vegetable. Like, what's that area in the church where people walk in the lobby? We call it what?
Vestibule.
Vestibule. So the vestibules are the roots outside in the outer labia. Then you have some roots that go down in the inner labia. All of those are the complexity of that clitoral root, and we gotta love on all of that.
Right.
Then you have